management. We would like you to teach another class. I'm all, really, what's that? He's like, it's rhetorical methods. I'm like, really, rhetorical methods? Well, that's interesting. You know, Aristotle, ethos, pathos, logos. And I go, let me see the book. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a sales class. No, rhetorical methods. I go, well, according to the text, he's like, no, if you can't teach it on, it's not on sales, it's rhetorical. Okay, I said, rhetorical methods. He's like, yes, it was a sales class. But when you look at the textbooks, it was all about these models and the figures and the logic. And all the logic in the world's great, but we have to look on the emotional side, and that's what we're going to focus on today. Difference between long-term and short-term persuasion. Because they're not just persuasion, there's different levels. And I want to go through the different models and see where you rank. Where are you spending most of the time? Are you at the very top? Are you at the bottom? Are you somewhere in the middle? The one lowest on the board is control. Force, fear, and threats. Is a gun and a knife pretty persuasive? Al Capone, the great gangster, I don't say great, the gangster, said, you can get pretty far with a nice word, but you get much farther with a nice word and a gun. And a lot of people do that, don't they? They have this force, this fear, this manipulation. And we'll be, people take advantage of it a few times, but long term it makes a huge difference. So let's go through the different examples in a scenario. Let's say you're vice president of a company, and the promotion's in the air. You feel the promotion. Everyone's talking about it. You're next in line to be president because the president's going to go on to another division of the company, and you're excited. You've been there for a while, and then the president calls you and says, you know what? We heard some great things about you. You might be in line for the promotion. I have one task for you. There's a new charity in town that we've decided that we're going to be working with, and we need to raise $25,000 for this charity. I want you to raise it. You have 2 weeks. Don't talk to me about it. I don't care how you do it. Raise $25,000. Wow. So you do the math, and that's about $250 per employee. How are you going to do it? How are you going to figure it out? How are you going to talk to them? You could use control and coercion. You could meet them out in the parking lot with a baseball bat. You could say, I know where you live, and there's been a lot of fires in your neighborhood lately, hasn't there? It would work in the short term, but that's not where we want to be. But people do focus on that. That's what some people do. That's all they know. It's easy, and it works in the short term. The next one is coercion, where you have that pressure, that manipulation, that intimidation. Coercion. We see that all the time. People doing things, forcing their way, just kind of working the system. So you try to figure out how to do, you say, well, coercion, you could sit down with the employees and say, look, if you do not donate $250 to this charity, I will give you a bad job evaluation. You probably won't get a raise, and you'll probably lose your job. Would that work? It would for the short term. Next would be command, authority, title, position. Do it or you're fired. I'm the boss, you're going to do it. You're using your authority in that position. Then there's compliance. Incentives, benefits, rewards. See, we talked about rewards, didn't we? Look, need $250. It's a great charity. You donate, I'll give you an extra 2 weeks paid vacation next year. Would you do that? Does that sound pretty good? That's worth $250. But once you've rewarded them for it and you need $250 again the next year, guess what they're going to want? They're going to want that vacation. Going up the ladder again is compromise. Negotiation, barter, mediation, where they know that you're giving away vacations and they know that you're in a rock and a hard place. You go back and forth. Well, I'll take the vacation, but there's this proposal that I need you to okay. And he says, well, I'll look at the proposal, but I'll only give you 1 week vacation. And you go back and forth, and it's negotiation, meeting somewhere in the middle. Then there's cooperation, where you convince, you encourage, you basically sell. You sit them down and say, look, this is a great charity. They do great things in the community. 95% of it goes to the people. It's important to give back to the community. It's important to give back. It's important to tithe, whatever it is, you convince them to do that. The next is commitment, where we already developed, you've been there for a while, you have respect, you have that honor, that trust, where they've worked with you and they know that you would never ask something that they shouldn't do. They always know that you're on their side. And they say,